In the bustling heart of Los Angeles, a simple request for $1 changes 2 lives forever. Follow the journey of Mel Gibson and a homeless man named Tom as their unexpected encounter leads to a story of redemption, hope, and the transformative power of human connection. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and please complete our 1,000 subscribers for more inspiring stories. The sun was setting over Los Angeles, casting long shadows across the concrete jungle, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. The city buzzed with the end-of-day rush. Cars honked, people hurried home or to their next appointment, and the homeless, scattered like forgotten leaves, watched life go by with weary, hopeful eyes. Mel Gibson, after a grueling day on set, where every scene was shot with precision and passion, felt the weight of his day lift as he settled into the back seat of his luxury car. His driver, accustomed to the routine, maneuvered through the evening traffic with ease. Mel's gaze wandered out the tinted windows, not looking for anything specific, just absorbing the city's pulse. As they approached a busy intersection in downtown LA, his attention was suddenly captured by a solitary figure standing beside the curb. The man was stark against the backdrop of the city's vibrancy. His clothes were tattered. His face was a canvas of life's harshness, adorned with a beard that seemed to hold stories of its own. He held a piece of cardboard, the edges frayed, the message clear and simple: "Please help." Mel signaled his driver to pull over. The car rolled to a stop with a gentle purr, and Mel lowered his window. The air outside was warm, carrying the scent of exhaust mixed with the distant aroma of street food. The homeless man's eyes, initially fixed on the ground, lifted, and in them Mel saw a flicker of recognition. "Mel Gibson, right?" the man asked, his voice hoarse but carrying a note of surprise and hope. Mel nodded, offering a warm, understanding smile. "Yes, that's me. How can I help you?" The man shuffled closer, his steps tentative as if he was walking on thin ice. "Can you give me $1? He asked, his eyes not leaving Mel's face, searching for any sign of refusal or judgment. Mel paused, looking at the man, not just seeing him, but really seeing him. The city around them continued its relentless pace. Cars passed, people glanced without stopping, but here, in this moment, there was a bubble of stillness. Mel reached into his wallet, pulling out not just $1 but several bills. However, as he extended his hand, something in the man's gaze made Mel hesitate. There was more to this man than just his immediate need for money. There was a story, a life, perhaps even dreams that had been deferred or lost along the way. "What's your story?" Mel asked, his voice genuine, eager to connect beyond the transaction of money. He handed over the cash, watching as the man's expression shifted from one of need to one of gratitude mixed with astonishment. The man, whose name was revealed to be Tom, took a moment before speaking, as if gathering his scattered thoughts. "I was once like you, Mr. Gibson," he began, his voice gaining strength as he spoke. "I had a family, a house in the suburbs, a job that I loved. But life has a way of turning everything upside down." Tom's story unfolded like a tragic play. He spoke of a business that went under, a divorce that tore his world apart, an illness that drained his savings, and then the slow descent into homelessness, where each day was a battle for survival. His narrative was punctuated by the occasional passing car, the sound of footsteps on the sidewalk, and the distant wail of a siren, all blending into the background of their conversation. Mel listened, his heart heavy with empathy. Here was a man, not defined by his current state, but by the life he had lived, the love he had lost, and the hope he still harbored. "And now?" Mel asked, his voice soft, not out of pity, but respect. "Now I live day by day," Tom replied, a wry smile crossing his lips. "I find what joy I can in small things, in the kindness of strangers, in the occasional book from the library, in the music from my old battered guitar." Mel, moved by Tom's resilience and his candid sharing, felt a connection to the human spirit that transcended their vastly different circumstances. "What do you need, Tom? Beyond the dollar you asked for?" Tom looked thoughtful, his eyes scanning Mel's face for sincerity. "A chance, maybe. A job, even if it's just for a day. Something to remind me I'm not just invisible. And if you have the time, maybe someone to talk to. It's been a while since I had a conversation that wasn't about begging or being ignored." Mel nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and opportunity. "I might have something for you," he said, thinking of the set where hands were always needed, even if just for menial tasks. "And I have time now. Let's talk more." As the evening deepened into night, Mel and Tom continued their conversation, sharing stories, laughter, and moments of silence that spoke volumes. It was an encounter that would not only change Tom's immediate future, but would leave an indelible mark on Mel, reminding him of the humanity that exists in every corner, even in the shadow of the city's towering palaces. The morning sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon, casting a soft golden light over the film set, which was nestled in the heart of Los Angeles. Mel Gibson had arranged for Tom to join him, not just as an act of charity, but as an opportunity for Tom to reconnect with a semblance of normal life, to feel valued, and perhaps to find a new path. Tom arrived early, his clothes still worn but cleaner than the day before, thanks to a quick visit to a shelter Mel had directed him to. His eyes, though still carrying the weight of his experiences, now had a flicker of anticipation. Mel greeted him with a warm handshake, introducing him to the crew as a new hand. "Tom here is going to help us out today," Mel announced to the crew, who responded with curious glances and polite smiles. Some knew of Mel's penchant for giving back, but few had witnessed it so directly. Tom was assigned to the props department, tasked with organizing and maintaining the various items needed for the shoot. The work was physically demanding but straightforward. It was the kind of job where you could lose yourself in the rhythm of labor, which for Tom felt like a luxury after the unpredictability of street life. As the day progressed, Tom found himself not just working, but observing, learning. He watched the actors, including Mel, dive into their roles with such commitment that it reminded him of the days when he, too, chased dreams. He listened to the director's instructions, the sound technician's meticulous adjustments, and the cinematographer's vision for each scene. During a break, Mel pulled Tom aside to a quiet corner where the set's hustle was just a distant murmur. "How are you holding up?" he asked, genuinely concerned. Tom wiped the sweat from his brow, a smile breaking through his usual guarded expression. "It's good," he said. It reminds me of when I used to have something to do, something to look forward to each day." Mel nodded, understanding the depth of what Tom was implying. "You know, we have a lot of work here. There might be more opportunities if you're interested." Tom's eyes widened slightly, a mix of hope and disbelief. "I'd like that very much." The conversation was cut short as they were called back to set. The day continued with its own rhythm, but now there was an additional undercurrent of purpose for Tom. He worked diligently, not just for the pay or the meal he knew would come at the end of the day, but for the feeling of belonging, of being part of something bigger than himself. At lunch, Mel invited Tom to sit with him and a few other crew members. They talked about movies, life, and even shared some laughs over silly set incidents. For Tom, this was more than just a meal. It was a reminder of human connection, of community. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in dramatic hues, the day's shoot wrapped up. Mel approached Tom, who was cleaning up, his hands now accustomed to the work. "You did well today, Tom. How about we make this a regular thing? There's always something to do here, and we could use someone reliable." Tom's heart swelled with gratitude. "I appreciate it, Mel, more than you know," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Mel clapped him on the shoulder. "Come back tomorrow, then. And Tom, keep your story going. This is just a new chapter." As Tom left the set, his steps were lighter, his mind buzzing with possibilities. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, he had something to look forward to, beyond merely surviving the night. He walked back into the city's evening glow, not just as a homeless man, but as someone who had been given a second chance to write his narrative. The days turned into weeks, and Tom became a familiar face on the set. His initial role in the props department expanded as he proved his reliability and willingness to learn. He was now assisting with set decoration, helping with the lighting, and even occasionally stepping into roles where quick hands were needed. Each day was a lesson in patience, resilience, and the art of filmmaking, reigniting a sense of purpose in Tom that he thought was long lost. One particular morning, the set was bustling with an unusual energy. They were preparing for a significant scene that involved a large crowd and complex choreography. Mel, noticing Tom's enthusiasm and his knack for understanding the flow of work, decided to involve him further. "Tom, how would you feel about helping coordinate the extras today?" Mel asked, his voice carrying a mix of challenge and encouragement. Tom's eyes lit up with a mixture of surprise and excitement. "I'd be honored, Mel. Just tell me what to do." The task was daunting. Managing a crowd of over 50 extras required organization, communication, and a calm demeanor. Tom was given a walkie-talkie, a clipboard with names and roles, and a quick rundown by the assistant director. He watched, listened, and absorbed every piece of advice like a sponge. The scene was set in a bustling market, recreating the vibrant atmosphere of a Middle Eastern bazaar. Tom moved through the crowd, guiding people to their marks, explaining their roles, and ensuring everyone knew where they needed to be when the cameras rolled. His approach was gentle, yet firm, echoing his own journey from chaos to order in his life. As the cameras started to roll, Tom watched from behind the scenes, his heart racing with a mixture of anxiety and pride. Every successful take, every seamless transition of the crowd from one part of the scene to another felt like a personal victory. During a break, Mel pulled Tom aside. "You're a natural at this," he commented, genuinely impressed. "Ever thought about doing this professionally?" Tom chuckled, a sound that had become more frequent in recent weeks. "I used to manage a team back in the day at my old company. It's been a while, but I guess it's like riding a bike." Mel nodded, seeing the potential in Tom not just as a helping hand, but as someone who could contribute significantly to the film industry. "When this project wraps up, I want you to consider sticking around. There's always room for someone with your skills and attitude." The word struck a chord with Tom. The idea of a future, of having a career again, was both exhilarating and terrifying. "I'll think about it, Mel. Thank you for believing in me." The day ended with the scene being shot to everyone's satisfaction, thanks in no small part to Tom's coordination. As the crew packed up, Tom felt a sense of community he hadn't experienced in years. He was no longer just the homeless man who got a day's work. He was part of the team. Weeks passed, and Tom's role on set evolved. He wasn't just helping. He was learning, growing, and becoming indispensable. His life outside the set also began to change. With the steady income, he managed to rent a small room in a shared house, a significant step up from the shelters or the streets. He started to reconnect with the world, buying a new set of clothes, getting a haircut, and even allowing himself the luxury of a decent meal now and then. One evening, as they were cleaning up after a long day, Mel invited Tom to an industry gathering. "It's a networking event. You should come, meet some people. Could be good for your future." Tom hesitated. The idea of mingling with industry insiders was daunting, but Mel's encouragement was hard to resist. "All right, I'll come," he agreed, feeling the weight of a new beginning. At the event, Tom was initially overwhelmed by the glitz and the conversations about projects he had only heard of from afar. But Mel introduced him, not as the homeless man he once was, but as the capable, hard-working member of his crew. People were curious, asking about his journey, his work on set. Tom spoke with a newfound confidence, sharing his story not as one of defeat, but of resilience and redemption. As the night wound down, Tom felt a sense of belonging, of being part of something larger than his past struggles. He left the event with business cards, potential job offers, and most importantly, a renewed sense of self-worth. Walking back to his modest room, Tom reflected on how far he had come in such a short time. The streets of L.A., once a labyrinth of despair, now seemed to hold paths of opportunity. He knew there would be challenges ahead, but for the first time in a long while, he believed he could navigate them. With the stars above and the city's lights around him, Tom felt like he was writing a new chapter in his life's book, one where he was not just surviving, but thriving. The final days on Mel's current project were a whirlwind of activity, with long hours, last-minute adjustments, and the palpable excitement of wrapping up a film. Tom had become not just a fixture on the set, but an integral part of the team, his contributions noted by everyone from the director to the newest intern. As the last scene was shot, there was a collective sigh of relief mixed with the bittersweet feeling of an ending. Mel gathered everyone for a brief speech, thanking each member for their dedication. When he came to Tom, he paused, looking directly at him. "Tom, you've shown us all what resilience looks like. You've taken every opportunity given to you and made it your own. I'm proud to have had you on this journey with us," Mel said, his voice carrying an emotional weight that resonated with everyone present. The applause that followed was warm and sincere, a testament to how Tom had woven himself into the fabric of the crew. After the wrap party, where stories, laughter, and promises to stay in touch were shared, Tom felt a mix of melancholy and excitement. The end of this project was the beginning of something else for him. The weeks following the wrap were transformative. Tom, with the encouragement and contacts from the film set, found himself interviewing for various positions in the film industry. His story of redemption, work ethic, and the skills he honed on set made him an attractive candidate. He landed a job as an assistant production coordinator for a new indie film, a role that felt like a perfect fit for his newfound passion and expertise. In his new role, Tom wasn't just working, he was thriving. He coordinated schedules, managed extras, and even began dabbling in script continuity, areas he had learned about from his time with Mel's team. His room, once a simple place to rest his head, was now adorned with books on filmmaking, scripts, and a small second-hand laptop where he wrote his own stories, inspired by his journey. One evening, after a particularly successful day on set, Tom received an unexpected call. It was Mel Gibson. "Tom, I heard you're doing well. I've got another project coming up, and I'd love for you to be part of it. But not just as an assistant. I want you on my crew officially." The invitation was overwhelming. Tom accepted, his voice cracking with emotion. "Thank you, Mel, for everything." Months later, at the premiere of Mel's new film, Tom stood in the crowd, not as a homeless man asking for $1, but as a credited member of the production team. His name was on the screen, a symbol of his journey from the streets to this moment of recognition. After the screening, Mel found Tom amidst the crowd, a proud smile on his face. "You've come a long way, Tom, and I think this is just the beginning for you." Tom nodded, his eyes scanning the room filled with people he now knew, people who had become colleagues, even friends. "I wouldn't have believed it if you had told me this a year ago," he admitted. The night was filled with conversations about future projects, ideas, and dreams. Tom shared his own script ideas with some, receiving encouraging feedback that fueled his ambition to write, to create, to tell stories that might one day inspire others as he had been inspired. As the event wound down, Tom stepped outside into the cool LA night, the city lights mirroring the stars above. He took a moment to look back at where he had started, then forward to where he was going. The streets that once represented his despair now seemed to glow with potential, with opportunity. Tom knew his journey wasn't over. There would be more challenges, more stories to tell, more lives to touch. But for now, he felt a profound sense of gratitude and purpose. He walked away from the theater, not just as a man who had found his way back from homelessness, but as someone who had found his place in the world, creating light in the places where there was once only shadow. Thank you for watching till the end video. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories.